Hey, how's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Cash, and this is Weekly Recap. What is Weekly Recap, you ask? It's me going over my numbers of operating a semi truck in the United States for 1 week, and I'm going to go over the loads, tell you why I did what I did, kind of talk about the loads a little bit, and then give you the breakdown of the money for the week. If you find this information helpful, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with somebody you think might could use this information to help build a business plan for themselves. That's what this is. This is information just to help people. Don't let it get in your feelings. I'm not here to get in your feelings. I'm not trying to do that. These are just numbers. It's just a week that I did, and that's what it is. So share it with people you think might help, and I'm leased onto an 80-20 split carrier. I do not talk about the carrier. I appreciate all the emails and comments about asking me that question, but I just don't do it. It doesn't benefit me any. And if you want numbers similar to this, find yourself a good 80-20 split carrier or a carrier that does something along those lines. The things I say is look for a company that you can work with long term that you trust, because that's the key to business. You got to be doing business with people you trust. And that's why I stay where I'm at, because I trust these guys. With that being said, this is a crazy week right here. This is me pretending to be a true OTR driver, pretending. If you know me, you watch these enough, you know I like to go Minnesota out and back. I like 1,000 to 1,500 mile run, and then turn me right back to the house. And maybe I got to split the run to get back. Maybe something back to Iowa or Chicago, and then a shorter run from there back to Minnesota. That's what I like to do with my weeks. Rinse and repeat. I've been doing this long enough to know that's what I like to do, so that's what I try to do. This week's different. This week I kind of said I just came off a 34-hour reset, and I got to be home in 7 days. Let's turn it. Let's turn it. Let's see how much money we can make in 7 days going anywhere. Mm, not my cup of tea right here. But we did it. We tried it. It's too much for me. I'm too old. I don't like to be, hustling and rustling and delivering, and then having to hurry up and immediately get somewhere else that's already expecting me to be there. It's not how I like to run. I don't like the stress of it. Some of you guys, you take that and it just, all that stress makes a diamond. You know what I mean? And it don't work like that for me. All that stress makes me annoyed, and uh, I do a lot of screaming at traffic in weeks like this. So it is what it is. Full disclosure: this week is from the beginning of August. That's when this run actually happened. The videos from right now when you're watching it, but the week is from August. I'm way behind on these. I'll be honest with you guys. If you want more of these, be sure you smash that like button, because I'll be honest with you, I got no incentive to do weekly recaps anymore because they just don't get views. And I'm on YouTube for the money. Let's face it, that's what I'm here for. That's your boy. Mm. But they just don't get the views like they used to. People want that big money, of trucking during COVID, when I could put up a $10,000 week, like shooting a basketball. But now, 10,000 weeks, far few between. Got to run your ass off like this week right here just to get in the eights for me. So they just don't get the views. So if you want to see more of these, make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribe, leave a comment, that type of stuff, things that help the algorithm, because the more views, the more incentive I have to make these. And that's just how it is, Tootie. That's just the facts of life, baby. So let's go over this week. Let's get down to it. It's time to go talk about it. 5 loads this week, which is really rare for me. I normally don't break it down like this, but really just bouncing around trying to keep the revenue coming in. Honestly, freight at this time was probably the worst I've seen it in a long time. July was probably the bottom for me. It seems like it's kind of started to get a little better through August and September, and October a little bit better. So this was probably close to the bottom to me. I mean, I was just scratching, trying to make bank and stay off that dollar a mile freight that was out there everywhere. So let's talk about it. Let's go Minnesota down to Nebraska, 37 empty miles, 356 loaded miles, 393 total miles on that joker. and that is 0 degrees, 37,000 pounds for $1,075. Next load, Iowa to Georgia, 96 empty miles, 1,081 loaded, 1,177 total miles on that one. 20 degrees, 38,000 pounds. That was downtown Atlanta. That one went. I mean, like downtown. 34,000. Excuse me, $3,400 on that one. I wish 34,000. Watch me take the rest of the year off. Georgia to Wisconsin, next load, 17 empty miles, 813 loaded miles. 830 total on that one. Negative 10 degrees, 39,000 pounds. That paid $1,900. And then Illinois to Michigan, a little short run, a little hop over to Michigan, 82 empty miles, 193 loaded miles, 275 total miles, 28 degrees, 16,000 pounds, and that paid $750. And then the final load of the week, the one that I took the short hop to go get, it was coming back to Minnesota. Michigan to Minnesota, 70 empty miles, 655 loaded miles, 725 total miles on that one. 55 degrees, 42,000 pounds, and that one paid $1,600. So that was the week. Crazy week for me. A lot of running. Now, that last load, 55 degrees, 42,000 pounds, that was a weird load for me. That was the first produce load I've ever seen where the broker and the rate con and the bill of lading both said run start and stop. I was like, I don't know about produce on start and stop, but if the broker tells me, the paperwork says it, the rate con says it, hey, who am I to argue with them, So that was just a weird produce load for me. I never seen a produce load like that say run, specifically start and stop across the board. So that was nice. But that was the 5 loads of the week. Crazy week, bouncing around everywhere for me. Minnesota to Nebraska, Iowa to Georgia, Georgia to Wisconsin, Illinois to Michigan, Michigan back to Minnesota. Woo! What a week! What a week for me. I don't like that. I don't like getting unloaded and reloaded and unloaded and reloaded and unloaded and reloaded. It's stressful and a lot can go wrong. So shout out to you guys that do that, do short hop, more, short hop runs and put in that work like that. I mean, it's a good rate per mile usually, but honestly, I did all this because the Minnesota to Nebraska, that Iowa load had already been agreed to, and someone could not get to it. Somebody got hung up like all weekend on getting unloaded, so I kind of did that as a favor. And then the Georgia to Wisconsin, honestly, I was planning on coming back from Wisconsin just straight back to Minnesota. But they had this deal set up where I could go Illinois over to Wisconsin. Man, I'm gonna tell you, if they would build a bridge across Lake Michigan, instead of being 193 miles, that would have been like 80 miles. That literally was like what is that, latitude, longitude, whichever one. It was like straight across, pickup to delivery. Little problem there. Small problem. Lake in the middle with no bridge. I never took the ferry. I didn't want to mess with it, but that was pretty good. And it just added to the week. Instead of going home and sitting at home for a day or two, before taking, and doing, like a vacation, I said, hey, let me run over to Michigan, grab that load back to Wisconsin, make an extra, $2,000 or so. So I'm glad it was there, but it made for a big stressful week for me. A lot of miles this week. I don't like this many miles. Let's talk about the numbers of this load this week, I guess. $8,725. Woo, that's some good revenue, baby, in this market, especially in this. This right here was like a banger week for me, honestly, because July was a little scary, honestly, to me. July was like, we may have to hang this up, at some point because, I got a number I got to make every week, and it was like I can't just keep putting in more miles and more miles and more miles to barely hit a number that's like the minimum. So July was probably the bottom for me. this, like I said, this from August 2024. August started to bounce back a little bit. Of course, having your first week look like this was damn good, but then I took like a week off, so it kind of meh. But whatever, whatever. Um, Good week though. 87.25 total gross revenue. My 80% of that is $6,980. We come over. Let's talk about the miles. 3,400 miles on the dot. 3,400 miles. Huge week for me. I don't like to go over 3,000 miles a week, but I kind of knew I was going to be taking the next week off. Well, not the whole week, but I was going to take like a 4-day little, mini vacation type thing. So I just said, hey, let's just run it out, burn the hours up. Why not? So that's what we did. 302 of that was empty miles. 3,098 loaded miles. That is 9% deadhead. It's okay with me. Let's talk about the rate per mile now. Let's talk about that. 257 all miles, 206 my 80%, and $2.81 loaded. Can't even read my own handwriting here. 281 loaded. So in the midst of July being pretty bad, I was pretty happy about this type of week. That's where I was at with it. So good week. I enjoyed it. Let's go over the variable cost now. 1734 on diesel. I need diesel. 51 cents a mile is what that comes out to. 51 cents a mile to move the truck down the road. 318 in Reefer. Big week for Reefer. Basically, the trailer ran continuous all darn week. So, except for the start and stop load at the end, like a little, day and a half run there at the end. Other than that, that thing ran all week. 318 on Reefer. $50 on Def Fluids. $42 on scales. I scaled 3 of those loads, and really haven't been scaling loads here lately. I got me a trailer with a scale on it now. So truck has scale, trailer has scale. We've pretty much eliminated the cats. Occasionally, if it's like a 44,000-pound load, I will go check it just to be sure. But other than that, we don't scale. 157 in tolls. Most of that going in and through Chicago a couple times, in and out and over. We bring over my 6980, subtract out the 2301 variable cost, and that leaves me $4,679 left to do what I have to do with. Now, what are things that I have to do that I don't mention here? Leave me comments about it, but we all know truck payment, insurance, taxes, maintenance, all that's got to be done out of that, okay? That's not my money to go do what I want to with. That's unrealistic. I don't want to give you that impression. So there it is. There's the rest of the cost. I don't talk about those though. I've talked about it before. Everybody's is so different. Why mess with it? But that's the week, guys. I hope you find this entertaining and educational. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. If you want to see more, be sure to leave me a comment down there. And thanks for watching, everybody. I much appreciate it. Take care of each other out there. And remember, people are more important than trucking. Hi, I want to talk to you real quick about the ES Advantage card. Do you need discounts at major truck stop chains? They got them. Do you need discount on shop rates at TA and Love's? They got them. Tire discounts. They even got health insurance now. Click the link down below. Easy application, no credit check. Sign up. They give you a call back. They'll take all your information and you'll be in the network.